Chapter 743, Curse of the Haunted Mask. It starts in the training yard. Lincoln was practicing his martial arts moves with me, Jen and Linka. Me, blocks a kick. Great job, Lincoln. Lincoln, thanks JD. Jen, you're really getting stronger, kid. Me, he sure is. We're proud of him. Nico, yep. Hey Jen, did you ever at one time impersonate a crime lord? Jen, I sure did. Me and Bruce foiled the plans of the ruthless Ms. Allure. Nico, I heard about her. She was one of the most notorious crime lords in all of New York. Me, I remember her. She had a very dangerous and deadly hypnotic power that allowed all kinds of people to do her bidding. Jen, yep. It was shortly after we stopped some mobsters from bringing in weapons. It was shortly after we blew up Quahog. Flashback. In the New Jersey shore on the wharfs, Jen and Bruce were fighting and pulverizing a bunch of mobsters at a warehouse. They had millions and millions dollars in stolen money, jewels, guns and weaponry and more. They had it all. Jen was in her She-Hulk form and she was wearing a black trench coat, black clothes, and black stiletto shoes. And Bruce was in his gray Hulk form. Jen, narrating. Back then I was known as the notorious Lady Green and Bruce was the gray Hulk and he was known as Mr. Fix-It. Back then we were called anti-mobsters. I guess that's the right term. Our mission was to bring Miss Allure's criminal empire crashing down. We had to infiltrate Allure's empire by taking out the opposition that stands in her way. And it was no easy task. Jen punched a man in the face and Grey Hulk knocked out a bunch of men. She-Hulk, that takes care of those clods. Grey Hulk, yeah, but we're not done yet. Now we take on Allure. They went to Miss Allure's building in New York City. There they confronted her. They met Miss Allure. She was a beautiful woman with looks many people would kill for. Her enforcer, the absorbing man, was completely devoted to Miss Allure but she showed no interest in return. Allure attempted to get Bruce Banner to fix the headaches her powers were causing her so she could run the town, but Mr. Fix-It and She-Hulk had other plans. She tried to hypnotize She-Hulk, but failed. Eventually, when Banner snapped out of the trance Allure had on him, he simply removed her powers. She then accepted the love of the absorbing man. She-Hulk, so you are Miss Allure. Allure, that's right. And you are the famous Lady Green I've heard about. You have a lot of nerve foiling my plans to get everything I could ever want. She-Hulk, we aim to please. Grey Hulk, time to take you down, bitch. They went at her. But just as they were about to smash her to pieces, they reverted back to their human forms. She-Hulk turned back into Jen and Grey Hulk turned back into Bruce. They hulked out. Allure, Jennifer Walters. So you're the infamous Lady Green. Jen, that's right. Jen punched her in the face and kicked her in the stomach. Jen, using feminine wiles to get what you want? Trading on your looks? Read a book, sister. That passive-aggressive number went out long ago. Chicks like you give women a bad name. Jen punched Allure in the face and kicked her in the stomach and punched her in the face again. Then she dealt a powerful kick to her face and knocked her out. Jen and Bruce took all the jewels Allure stole along with all the weapons they took. The police arrived and Jen put a special collar on Allure's neck that stripped her of her mind control powers permanently. Jen, narrating. After the police arrived they arrested Allure and we sent her to one of our toughest maximum security prisons for eternity. Flashback ends. Me, wow. You guys really socked it to her. Awesome job. Nico, Miss Allure, you have failed this world. We laughed. Me, you said it, buddy. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Later we were back in the estate. I was in the basement putting laundry in the washing machine. Me, to the viewers, even superheroes have to do chores. I put the laundry in the machine and turned it on. I then saw a strange trunk by the wall. It had a skull face on it and it had an old style on it. I walked up to it and it had a strange energy on it. Me, I wonder who owns a trunk like this. The Grim Reaper then appeared. Me, oh hi Grim. Grim, Jamaican accent, hello JD. Doing laundry? Me, yep. I noticed this trunk here. Is it yours? Grim, it is Monday. It's where I keep all the artifacts of the paranormal and the supernatural. Me, wow. That's amazing. May I have a look inside? Grim, certainly. I opened the trunk and looked inside it. It had all kinds of strange and enchanted objects. Me, wow. Look at all this stuff. I pulled out a strange purple crystal. Me, a dark crystal? Grim, this is the dark crystal of the dark dimension. What it does is it sends the most evil of souls to the magic plane called the dark dimension. Me, Doctor Strange told us about the dark dimension. It's where he sent the evil spirit of Slappy for all eternity. Grim, that's right. Me, this'll come in handy. It will be perfect for that. I put the crystal around my neck. Me, perfect. I found something else. It was a strange bracelet. It was a green bracelet and it had an evil-looking octopus head on it. Me, what is this wicked bracelet? Grim, that is the bracelet of Fulhu. An ancient and terrible being that can drive men mad by looking at them. Me, I've read a lot about Fulhu. He's a monster of pure unrestrained evil. He's said to be the ultimate personification of pure evil amplified 100-fold. But this might come in handy. Grim, when you put it on you will get all of Fulhu's powers enhanced 100-fold. Me, wow. That's incredible. I put the bracelet on my right arm and the eyes glowed. I got a huge muscle increase in size. My muscles were now as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger's. Me, wow. I look incredible. I look like an awesome bodybuilder. Grim, yep. It builds up your muscle strength. Me, I have to try this bracelet out on my next mission. I then noticed something strange. Me, what's this? I pulled out a terrifying and ugly mask. Me, well. This mask looks ugly. Grim, you know this mask JD. Me, I looked at it and it was very familiar to me somehow. But then I suddenly had a memory flashback. I saw this mask on my favorite Goosebumps book, The Haunted Mask. Me, gasp. I remember this ugly mask. This is the Haunted Mask from the Goosebumps series. Grim, that's right. It was given to me to hide in my trunk. Me, I got to show this to everyone. We went upstairs. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In the dining room, Nico was looking over all of his entire collection of the Goosebumps books. Nico, to Poliwag and Poorman, you know, guys. I'm starting to think that maybe we won't really get to fight any other Goosebumps monsters. After all, Slappy's demise probably alerted the rest of them to our presence. Chances are, they're all in hiding about now. What do you two think? Poorman, they are out there, Nico. But we have to finish them one at a time when we find them. Poliwag, we just got to know where to look. I came in. Me, and I believe I found one in our basement, Nico. I showed him the haunted mask. Nico gasps in shock. That's the haunted mask. Where did you find that? Me, in Grim's trunk in the basement. Nico, so we had a Goosebumps monster in our house the whole time? Me, we never even realized it. You know more about this mask better than I do. Nico, I sure do. After everyone gathered, Nico told us how the mask came into the possession of a young girl in Raleigh, North Carolina named Carly Beth Caldwell. Carly Beth makes her first appearance in the haunted mask. She is a timid, easily scareable girl, which usually leads her to be on the receiving end of cruel practical jokes pulled by her friends Chuck and Steve. With Halloween just around the corner, Carly Beth decides she's done being scared. She needs to get revenge on the two boys, and so she puts a plan in action to scare them on Halloween night. Getting home, she discovers her mother has sculpted a plaster head replica of her. She tells Carly Beth she made it because she loves her, but Carly Beth can't help but be turned away from the head. Her mother also reveals she made a duck costume for her, after Carly Beth admired one in a store window. This repulses Carly Beth, as she wants to be scary for Halloween, not cute. On Halloween night, she enters a novelty party store in hopes of finding a mask that will scare Chuck and Steve. To her disappointment, nothing in the store seems to fit the bill, but eventually, Carly Beth finds an entrance into the basement of the store, where 24 grotesque and realistic-looking masks are waiting for. One in particular catches her eye, a green one, with glowing eyes and jagged fangs. The shopkeeper of the store stops her before she can take it, and tells her the masks are not for sale. He tells Carly Beth the masks are too scary to be worn, but Carly Beth pleads, offering all the money she has. Eventually, the shopkeeper gives in, and lets her take the mask, telling her she'll regret it. Carly Beth exits the shop, and prepares to set her revenge plan in motion. She puts the mask over her face, and heads out, also carrying the plaster head her mother made on a broom handle. While in the mask, Carly Beth can't help but scare the other trick-or-treaters walking around. To her glee, the mask seems to terrify everyone, even her best friend, Sabrina Mason. Hoping to find Chuck and Steve, she separates from Sabrina, scaring kids along the way in a now raspy voice. Carly Beth eventually finds the two, and they are immediately scared of her. They ask if Carly Beth is under the mask. In response, Carly Beth shows them the plaster head, pretending it is her own decapitated head. To her shock, the head seems to cry out for help, which sends Chuck and Steve running in fear, and the head rolls onto the ground. With her plan successful, Carly Beth regroups with Sabrina. After arriving at Sabrina's house, Carly Beth attempts to remove the mask, but discovers it has become stuck to her face. She asks Sabrina for help, but upon inspection, the two discover there is no line between her skin and the mask. Her eyes have also changed to a glowing orange. In panic, she runs back to the party store for help. The shopkeeper is there waiting for her, and tells Carly Beth the mask is not a mask at all, but rather, an actual face. He tells Carly Beth the only way the mask can be removed is through a symbol of love. Frustrated, Carly Beth demands to know what he means. Her yells wake up the other masks in the basement, which rise up to chase her. Carly Beth flees, with the masks in pursuit. She retrieves the plaster head her mother made, and holds it up, declaring that is a symbol of love. The masks are defeated, and Carly Beth safely removes the mask from her face. Carly Beth returns in the haunted mask too, set the following Halloween, changed by her experience with the mask. She has since become much more braver, and is no longer easy to scare, much to Chuck and Steve's frustration. Steve wants a mask of his own, something as scary as the one she wore. Carly Beth warns him of the danger the masks possess, and recounts how it became stuck to her face. Steve doesn't believe her, and ignores her warnings not to go to the party shop. Steve ends up stealing the mask of an old man, which sticks to his face, and causes him to feel weak and old. He realizes that only Carly Beth can help him remove it. Carly Beth attempts to help Steve find a symbol of love to remove the mask, but nothing works. She theorizes that the different masks may have different methods of removal. The two head back to the party shop, and find the suit that matches with the mask. Her theory is proven correct when the mask lifts off Steve's head, and attaches to the suit. After Steve's mask is removed, he and Carly Beth break into a fit of joyful laughter now that the mask is finally removed. Me, that is awful, Nico. I didn't know Carly Beth had a really bad history with this bad mask. Lori, I can't believe Carly Beth literally went through all that. Lainey, me neither. This mask is pure evil. Me, it's worse than that, guys. We have to destroy this thing. Then there was a knock on the door. Me, I'll get that. I went to the door and I answered it. It was famous superheroine Greer Nelson, aka Tigra. Me? Oh wow. Greer Nelson aka Tigra. Tigra, that's right. It's a pleasure to meet you, JD. Nico, wow. You're one of my favorite superheroes. Tigra, I'm glad I have some fans. Lainey, wow. It's so awesome to meet you, Greer. I take it the Avengers sent you? Tigra, they did, Lainey. I was sent to assist you guys in an upcoming mission. Me, we greatly appreciate it, Greer. Luna, but how did you become Tigra? Tigra, that is a story I'll never forget. Greer Grant was a native of Chicago, Illinois. She was a sophomore at the University of Chicago when she met her future husband, policeman Bill Nelson. She left college to marry him. The marriage was a strong one, flawed only by Bill's overprotective nature. Bill was killed in an off-duty shooting, and Greer had to find a job of her own. After weeks of searching, she ran into her old physics professor, Dr. Joanne Tumulo. Dr. Tumulo was working on the human potential experiments that turned Shirley Bryant into the super-powered villainess called the Cat. Not trusting the test subject chosen by her financial backer, Malcolm Denalban, Greer persuaded Dr. Tumulo to let her undergo the experimental treatments as well. She emerged with superhuman physical and mental capabilities. When Denalban had Dr. Tumulo's lab destroyed with dynamite, Greer donned one of the dozens of cat costumes that she had created, and the doctor had appropriated and set out to put an end to his scheme. With her new abilities, she adapted quickly to the strange garb and wrecked Denalban's headquarters. Rather than let himself be touched by the cat's raking claws, Denalban committed suicide. A fire set off by the ruined equipment destroyed Denalban's headquarters. Greer embarked on a brief crime-fighting career as the Cat. Another of Denalban's cat costumes surfaced years later, when Patsy Walker discovered it while accompanying the Avengers. She donned it and dubbed herself Hellcat. The Tigra is the historical defender/champion of the cat people, a humanoid race created by sorcery during the Dark Ages. Concerned about the cat people's uncontrollable population growth and savagery, a community of sorcerers eventually banished the entire original cat people population to a demonic netherworldly realm. The two very first cat people, who were themselves very capable scientists and sorcerers, were able to evade banishment through their magic. They continued to live amongst humanity in secret and worked to refine the cat people's biology to make a peaceful integration into the human population possible. They were constantly persecuted and required a protector. Discovering that the original spell for transforming cats into cat people like themselves had been rendered inoperative, they created a process combining science, sorcery, and focused mental power that could transform a human female into a tigra, a humanoid tiger-like being with abilities that far surpassed those of either race. This unnamed first tigra defended the cat people with great effectiveness, and allowed a new community to establish themselves on Earth, separate from the group that had been banished. This new population continued to live amongst humanity in secrecy through the present day, relying on enchantments that cast the illusion of a human appearance. Nothing is known about the other tigras who may have existed, or even if there have been more than two. At the time when Greer was transformed into a tigra, the tigra was only remembered by the cat people as a distant but powerful legend. It has been strongly implied that only one tigra can exist at any given time. Dr. Tumulo was revealed to be one of these modern cat people. 7 When members of Hydra tracked Tumulo down to obtain the final secret, the Black Death Plague, which was another creation of the first 2 cat people, Greer once again donned the cat costume and drove them off. However, she was mortally injured by a blast from one of their alpha radiation pistols. Greer regained consciousness in a Baja California cave, surrounded by a gathering of cat people summoned by Tumulo. Rapidly dying from the radiation's effects, Greer was offered one last hope of survival, a combination of ancient science, sorcery, and mental power that would transform her into Tigra, the cat people's legendary half-human, half-cat warrior. She readily consented, began wearing only her black bikini from this time on, and arose from the ceremony as a superhuman-powered human-animal hybrid. Striped fur covered her entire body, her hands and feet bore razor-sharp claws, Her teeth became long and pointed, and her eyes were now cat eyes. In addition to superhuman strength and senses, she also gained many of the drives and instincts of a cat. Soon after, she encountered the werewolf. Though initially unable to change back to her human self, the cat people ultimately gave her a mystical cat-headed amulet that allowed her to first create the illusion of her human form and later to change at will. She seldom made use of it, preferring her feline, super-powered form and mostly abandoning her life as Greer Grant Nelson. Greer resumed her superhero career, with most of the world unaware that the woman who briefly fought crime as the cat was now the feline Tigra. She fought alongside most of Marvel's heavy hitters in wide-ranging adventures. She first battled Kraven the Hunter, and then teamed with Spider-Man against Kraven. She also became a friend and associate of the Fantastic Four. When the Avengers found themselves short-handed, Moondragon used her mental powers to compel a dozen unaffiliated heroes, apparently selected at random, to travel to Avengers Mansion and audition for the vacant position. Though he disapproved of Moondragon's methods, Captain America offered Tigra a spot on the team. Although Tigra's first tenure with the Avengers was brief, she served well. She also aided the X-Men against Deathbird. Her time with the Avengers was highlighted by her single-handedly saving the world from destruction by the Molecule Man, who intended to consume the planet's energy like Galactus. Alone among the Avengers, she was able to get close enough to him to talk him out of his plan. She convinced him to seek help from a therapist, and the Molecule Man has ceased to be a threat to this day. The Avengers fought the Ghost Rider, who blasted the team with his terror-inducing hellfire. The nature of Tigra's powers caused her to be affected by the exposure on a far deeper level than her teammates. She was left with great self-doubts about her qualifications as a member of Earth's premier superhero team, particularly alongside such heavy hitters as Thor and Iron Man. Ultimately, she resigned her membership, leaving the team on good terms. She resumed her modeling career, moving to San Francisco when employers on the East Coast proved unreceptive to the idea of a cat person model. There she befriended private investigator Jessica Drew, and aided her on several cases, but had no better luck with modeling work and accepted an offer from the Vision to become a founding member of the Avengers' new West Coast-based team. Alongside the new West Coast Avengers, she fought Graviton, and became a close friend of Wonder Man. She also began a flirtation with Henry Pym. While with the West Coast Avengers, she seemed to have shed the remainders of her hellfire-induced self-doubt. However, the cat-like aspects of her personality, such as a penchant for savagery and a need for affection, had begun to dominate her human intellect, causing her increasing distress. She sought help from her Avengers teammates in overcoming the cat side of her personality, which had caused her to become the lover of both Wonder Man and Henry Pym. She also encountered and fought the was transported with the West Coast Avengers by Blackadder to the realm of the cat people. Ultimately, she came into contact with the banished colony of cat people, whose king agreed to resolve her crisis in exchange for carrying out her historical function by murdering the cat people's longtime foe, Master Pandemonium. Though she initially accepted their terms, when the critical moment came at an arena in the cat people's realm, Tigra refused to violate the Avengers' code against killing, and failed to kill Master Pandemonium. The cat people stripped her of her Tigra soul, the peculiar articulation of her Tigra powers in this demonic realm. She was reduced to her normal, pre-transformation human state. Hellcat, who had accompanied Greer and the West Coast Avengers, lent Greer the supersuit that she used to wear as the cat, and a battle ensued. As the tide began to turn against the cat people, their leader released the Tigra soul as a means of confusing Greer. The tactic backfired. The cat suit had been designed by a cat person, Tumalo, specifically to amplify Greer's human capabilities. So instead of Greer being dominated by the Tigra soul as before, the suit caused her human and feline personalities to successfully integrate together. This time, Greer's transformation into the legendary cat warrior was much more complete than before. Her strength and abilities were far greater than they were originally. Her appearance became more feline, and she grew a tail like the rest of the cat people. She also lost the ability to shift back to a human form, though as before she showed no sense of loss for her human identity. Her transformation was so complete and the Tigra legend was so strong amongst the cat people that they immediately ceased hostilities. Tigra continues to hold a position of significant reverence among the cat people. The transformation also resolved the conflicts between the human and feline aspects of her personality. Tigra could now exploit the full range and ferocity of her abilities without fear of going so far that she would lose control of her actions, and she could also indulge her natural feline inclinations, such as hunting and chasing prey for enjoyment, without feeling guilty or self-conscious. This integration was confirmed in concrete ways immediately upon the team's return to Earth. Tigra performed a sport dive off the highest span of the Golden Gate Bridge, exhibiting no signs of any injury or fear of the water. She also terminated her ongoing relationship with Hank Pym, explaining that although she no longer felt a cat-like need to seek affection at every opportunity, she had no conventional human desire to be tied down to one mate, either. She was captured by Graviton at one point, but freed the Avengers from him. Around this time, the Arthurian Lady of the Lake summoned the West Coast Avengers to England to aid the superhero team Excalibur. With the others, Tigra ventured into the realm of Limbo to help stop Doctor Doom's mad plans to gain power at the cost of killing everyone in Britain. Tigra briefly left the West Coast Avengers in a dispute over the Avengers' policy against killing. Tigra stated that she believed by her very nature that killing prey was sometimes necessary. She joined Mockingbird and Moon Knight in forming an independent group. After returning to the team, Tigra inexplicably underwent another inversion and transformed into a more beast-like feline shape, losing her human intellect completely and becoming a danger to her fellow Avengers. This was possibly due to the reality-warping machinations of Immortus, who at the time sought to distract the team so as to have unimpeded access to the Scarlet Witch. Tigra was forcibly shrunken down to sub-house cat size by Hank Pym and kept in a cage in his lab while the team tended to other urgent matters. Volume and issue needed she escaped and traveled into suburbia where she lived as a wild animal. She was ultimately rescued and restored to her former appearance and stability by noted witch Agatha Harkness, who was an associate of the West Coast Avengers at that time. Tigra resumed her membership in the West Coast Avengers. On an intelligence-gathering mission in Japan, she and Iron Man battled a team of Asian supervillains known as the Pacific Overlords. During the fight, Iron Man was incapacitated and Tigra suffered a deep, critical stab wound to the abdomen before dispatching her attackers and making her escape. She flew away in the Avengers Quinjet, intending to report back to headquarters on the Overlord's plans, but severe loss of blood caused her to lose consciousness and crash land in Arnhem Land, an Aboriginal territory in northern Australia. Rescued by Aborigines, she decided to stay put while she recovered from her wounds, naming Spider-Woman Julia Carpenter as her replacement. She briefly made Arnhem Land her home, enjoying the company of the Aborigines and the pleasures of living wild. After the West Coast Avengers disbanded, Tigra resumed her wide-ranging adventures. Though no longer an active Avenger, she continued to participate in Avengers operations when needed, as a member of the team's extended family. With the aid of a new transformation device to disguise her true identity from her fellow officers, Tigra spent some time on the New York City police force. She focused much of her time on a personal case and in combating a force of vigilante police officers. Later, mystical forces which attacked all Avengers brought her to the Avengers Mansion. There, she and all the other Avengers were entrapped by Morgan Le Fay, to live out in an alternate universe where Le Fay ruled, fighting alongside the others as one of the Queen's guards under the name Grimalkin. After the defeat of Morgan, Tigra went off into space with Star Fox, to enjoy the pleasures found there. She appeared off and on, having a series of adventures as part of the ad hoc spacefaring Avengers Infinity team in which she helps in preventing an extra-universal race from destroying all life in our universe. Tigra returned to Earth with the Avengers Infinity team during the Maximum Security storyline, during which she helped to save the Earth from becoming a penal colony for alien criminals. Volume and issue needed she played a particularly crucial role in events when the Infinity team were captured after discovering the Kree's role in recent events, with the Kree intending to lobotomize the team and make it appear as though they had destroyed another planet, due to the attention the Kree had paid to keeping the more powerful team members contained. They were unprepared for Tigra, the weakest member, to escape her bonds by returning to her smaller human form, allowing her to escape her shackles and free her teammates in time to reveal the truth. Tigra fought along Iron Man's side during the Civil War. She supported the Registration Act, although she expressed sincere concern about the fate of Captain America and the other heroes who opposed the act and turned fugitive. Nonetheless, in Civil War files, Tigra was listed not merely as having registered to comply with the law, but also as having become an agent of SHIELD to actively aid in its enforcement. Pretending to switch allegiances, she infiltrated Captain America's secret Avengers team as a mole. She passed information to Iron Man undetected until the very end of the conflict, when she was discovered and outed by Hulkling, Captain America's own spy among the pro-registration forces. Captain America kept quiet, exploiting her presence to feed disinformation to Iron Man about his team's plan to rescue imprisoned heroes later that day. Greer has been identified as one of the 142 registered superheroes who are part of the 50-state initiative. She served as a founding instructor at Camp Hammond, the training compound for the initiative, and resumed her romantic relationship with fellow superhero Yellow Jacket, unaware that he had been kidnapped and replaced by a Skrull duplicate. Tigra was captured by Chilean soldiers controlled by the Puppet Master, who sculpted a figure in her likeness and thus put her under his mental control. He used her and the other superhuman women he'd enslaved, including Stature, Dusk, Arena, and Silverclaw, as elite guards at his South American base of operations. Tigra and the rest of the heroes were restored to their normal free will when Ms. Marvel and her SHIELD strike team liberated the compound and killed the Puppet Master. Later she was shot and severely beaten by the Hood in her home in retaliation for having beaten Jigsaw, a member of his fledgling supercriminal organization. While Tigra was incapacitated, the Hood threatened the life of her mother, and Jigsaw stole the mystic talisman she occasionally uses to transform to her human identity. The Hood and his entire crew later appeared at her apartment, demanding to know the location of the new Avengers' secret headquarters. Tigra intentionally gave him information that led them into an ambush. She joined in the battle and personally beat down the Hood, saving the life of Iron Fist in the process. By the time of the Hood's second appearance in her apartment, she had completely recovered from her injuries and had either reacquired her talisman or replaced it with a close facsimile. Tigra continued to serve in the initiative as a senior staff member of the Central Organization, and was the leader of the Arkansas Initiative Team, the battalion, until the initiative was taken over by Norman Osborn and she learned of the Hood's role as his right-hand man. She has also appeared as a member of She-Hulk's Lady Liberators team. After the Skrull invasion, Tigra reveals to Hellcat and Trauma that she believes herself to be pregnant by Yellow Jacket, though she is unsure if the baby is the real Hanks or the Skrull imposters. She tells Trauma that she has decided to terminate the pregnancy regardless of the father's identity. She later decides to leave the camp for Arkansas, planning to train Razorback, who had been replaced by a Skrull and recently returned, and was eager to take the imposter's place in the battalion. When she was nearly injured by Ragnarok's hammer, she seemed to show concern for the baby. When Norman Osborn told her that he was going to take her baby for genetic testing and that moreover he'd made the Hood the chief operating officer of the initiative, Tigra went on the run with Gauntlet despite having been offered her choice of prestige assignments as a registered hero. She co-founded the Avengers Resistance, choosing its name as a means of restoring honor to the legendary team's traditions. Now wanted as an outlaw, she began exacting personal vengeance from members of the Hood's gang, starting by savagely attacking and beating a member of the Brothers Grimm inside his home. She currently serves as the team's de facto leader. Tigra is later approached by Ultra Girl asking why she and the Avengers Resistance are going after the villains in the initiative. In response, she shows her a video of the Hood savagely beating her. Now, she wants to get back at them, by showing them that they are vulnerable, by making them scared and broken. Tigra later ambushes Mandrill. She claimed her final retribution against the Hood not on the battlefield, but after he was rendered powerless and taken into custody. After telling him that she was perfectly comfortable with the idea of taking his life, the sight of his baby in the hallway outside convinced her that dooming him to either a life in prison or on the run would be far worse punishment, as he'd never get to hold his child ever again, and to kill him would jeopardize her future with her own baby. Tigra gave birth to what is apparently a normal cat-person kitten during the transition between Tony Stark's administration of the initiative and Norman Osborn's. The gestation period was a mere 2 months, due to her feline physiology. She hid the infant from Osborn, entrusting its care to the cat people until the end of hostilities. She named the child William, after her late husband. At the conclusion of the siege, Tigra stated a new motivation not only to restore the good name of the Avengers, but also to ensure that her child will grow up in a safer world. Following the arrest and incarceration of Norman Osborn, the dismantling of his criminal superhero teams, and the repeal of the Superhuman Registration Act, the president named Steve Rogers, the original Captain America, as America's new head of national security. Rogers seeks to assemble a collection of heroes to inspire the nation and the world as a new organization of Avengers. Tigra is among the 25 heroes he personally invites to join him in creating a new heroic age. Alongside Hank Pym, Quicksilver, Jocasta, Speedball and Justice, Tigra serves as part of the founding faculty of Avengers Academy, training a new generation of heroes in the traditions of the world's elite superhero team. During this time, Tigra learns that the Skrull posing as Pym was indeed William's father, but as he had disguised himself as Pym at the genetic level, it means that William is half human, rather than half Skrull, with Pym technically being the genetic father. After learning this, Tigra asks Henry to take care of William in the event of anything happening to her. When a former associate of the Hood plans to release the video of Tigra's beating commercially, Tigra arranges to have the footage air in its entirety during a live interview, so that her own experience may serve as an example to other trauma survivors and inspire them to seek help. During this same interview, she announces her formation of a series of Always an Avenger centers to provide veterans, children, spouses, and any other trauma victims with needed counseling and resources. Members of the existing Avengers Academy class react to the initial news of the video by tracking the unpowered Hood down, attacking him, and releasing video of the attack on the internet, rather than taking the escaped Hood into custody and returning him to jail. Tigra becomes furious at their counter-heroic actions and by their refusal to appreciate the seriousness of their transgression. She summarily expels all those involved. Later, after talking with the rest of the faculty staff, they decide to put all those involved on probation instead. She has slowly grown closer to Henry Pym and the two have resumed their romantic relationship. Tigra was one of 10 female heroes recruited by Misty Knight to aid her and Valkyrie in repelling a group of Asgardi and Doom Maidens. At the end of this adventure, Valkyrie comes to realize that Tigra and 3 of the other heroines are among those deemed by the All-Mother to be worthy to become Shield Maidens like herself, symbols of honor and valor and courage, to one day be led by Valkyrie into battle and death. During the Secret Empire storyline, Tigra appears as a member of the Underground, which is a resistance movement against Hydra ever since they took over the United States. Tigra appeared in the Fresh Start revival of West Coast Avengers, in which she had been changed into a giant with her mind set to a feral state. Tigra. So after all that, I decided to help out the Avengers. Me? That's amazing. Greer, how would you like to have the ability to transform into Tigra at will? Tigra, you can do that, JD? Me, I sure can. Tigra, thank you, JD. Lincoln, do we have to cover our eyes? Me, not this time. But Greer, this is gonna hurt. Tigra, I'll handle it. Me, okay. Lincoln, can I change her back, JD? Me, go for it, buddy. Lincoln snapped his fingers and she started change back. Greer groans in excruciating pain. Oh god, it hurts. She reverted back to what she was before she became Tigra. Greer held her stomach in pain. She had a splitting headache, struggled to keep her balance, and braced herself on a random piece of furniture. A chair to be exact. She had her black hair return, blue eyes, fair skin, and her nails reverted from claws. Her tail went back into her butt. Tigra. That was weird. And her tiger stripes vanished. She was beautiful. Greer, I'm human again. This is amazing. Me, how do you feel? Greer, I feel amazing JD. Lola, great job Linky. Lori, I'm glad you're back to normal Greer. You look amazing in that bikini. Greer, is this the only thing I was wearing the whole time I was Tigra? Well, it fits perfectly. Me, it looks great on you. Are you hungry? Tigra, starving. I made her some chicken and she ate it. Me, boy you sure were hungry. Tigra, I know. I'm a meat eater. Nicole, you and I have so much in common. I love eating meat. Lainey, guys. We got problems. We went into the living room and we saw the mask floating. Me, holy shit. Nico, I remember the other masks doing this in the books and the movie. Haunted mask, demonic voice, you will never stop me. I'm coming Carly Beth. The mask flew out the door. Me, after it. We went after it. We flew after it and rode on our horses. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In the Caldwell house in Raleigh, North Carolina lived Carly Beth Caldwell and she had just gotten the mask. Sabrina, Carly Beth, Team Loud Phoenix Storm should be here soon. Do you still feel the haunted mask's influence? Carly Beth, I'm trying to fight it. But it's so hard. There was a knock on the door. Carly Beth went to the door and answered it. It was us. Me, Carly Beth Caldwell. It's a pleasure to meet you. Carly Beth, secretly trying to fight the haunted mask's influence in her mind. It's an honor to meet you, JD. Me, same here. Carly Beth, my favorite adventure of yours was when you guys went to the Toy Story world. Maria, I remember that. We met the Gigas robots there. Ironhide, and I used my cannons to kill Lotso and Stinky Pete. Me, we'll talk about our adventures later. Carly Beth told us how she found the mask and all that. Me, that is awful. Greer, I can't believe that this mask is that evil. Sabrina, me neither. Sabrina saw Greer and she was shocked and amazed at her beauty. Sabrina, wow. Tigra, you look amazing. Carly Beth sees Tigra in her human form. Well, it's not every day I see a bikini-wearing woman in my house. Greer, it's been with me ever since I changed into Tigra. Carly Beth, you are sure beautiful Tigra. Greer, call me Greer. It's my real name. Carly Beth's mom, you have amazing looks Greer. Greer, I get that a lot. Carly Beth, grunts, interesting. Tigra, you okay, Carly Beth? You're acting weird. Carly Beth, plays dumb while secretly getting a bat. I don't know what you're talking about. Maria, eyes widen. Carly Beth, you're being influenced by the haunted mask, aren't you? Carly Beth, sighs. Maria, why did you have to go notice that? Swings bat at her. Maria ducked and Lainey wrapped Carly Beth in vines. Carly Beth grins evilly under the haunted mask's control. Ha 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 ha. You can't stop the haunted masks. We are invincible. Maria, let her go, you latex freak. Carly Beth, never. Brittany, no one is invincible but us. Brittany placed a special anti-mind control headband on Carly Beth's head. It stopped the control of the mask as long as she had that headband on. Carly Beth, I can't believe I did that. Me, it's not your fault Carly Beth. It's this evil mask's fault. Sabrina, this is a total nightmare. Me, and we will destroy this mask. Also Nico told us about what you went through. What Chuck and Steve did to you was unforgivable. Carly Beth's mom, what are you talking about JD? Me, I'm afraid that your daughter has fallen victim to bullying at her school. On Halloween she was humiliated by two dickhead bullies named Chuck Green and Steve Boswell. Carly Beth's mom. Those two kids that won't leave Carly Beth alone? Me, that's them. And they humiliated her by putting a worm in her sandwich. Carly Beth's mom. Those two kids will never learn. Me, usually bullies never do. Sydney, that's right. Take it from me. I may be a ghost from the 1950s and I was bullied relentlessly, but I hate bullying with a vengeance. Nico, me too Sydney. Carly Beth, look, I appreciate that you are looking out for me. But the haunted mask is more important than my bullying problems. Me, I know Carly Beth. These matters can't be overlooked though. If there's one thing we all never tolerate more than anything, it's bullying. I hate all bullies with a vengeance. Nico, that's right. Bullies are scum and they failed this whole universe. Me, we'll deal with Chuck and Steve later though. Right now we got to destroy the haunted mask. Where did you get this mask, Carly Beth? Carly Beth, I got it at a mask store. I'll show you where it's it. Me, okay. Sabrina, Greer, before we confront Chuck and Steve, I'd like to give you some clothes that I have. Maria, that won't be necessary Sabrina. Maria gave Greer black leggings, orange sandals, orange summer shirt with tiger stripes, and a sleeveless trench coat with tiger stripes on it. Greer put them on and she looked incredible. Greer, wow. Thanks Maria. Maria, you're welcome Greer. We left for the mask store. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We arrived at said store and it was closed. Carly Beth opened the door and we went in. We saw hundreds of different kinds of masks and there were lots of scary and creepy ones. Lainey, wow. Look at all these masks. Shade man, there's a lot of them. Me, there sure are. The shopkeeper came out. Shopkeeper, go away. We saw him. Me, are you the one who made the masks? Shopkeeper, that's right. Me, I'm JD. Knudsen, leader of Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Shopkeeper, I've heard a lot about you and your deeds. You are a powerful force of good. Me, that's right. We came here to destroy the mask you gave to Carly Beth here. Shopkeeper, perhaps I should tell you how these masks came into being. The haunted mask is actually one of many, created by a nameless shopkeeper long ago. The shopkeeper had no love for himself, for he was born with an ugly face. As a grown man, the shopkeeper became a scientist in the field of biological engineering and in turn used this to create a beautiful human prosthetic face. He made this face of human flesh and made it so that when he put it on it would attach itself to his flesh and would remain so forever. But something went wrong. When he put on the beautiful mask it changed. It became hideous. No matter what he did to stop the decay, the face turned into an ugly monstrosity. The face turned a dead green, its teeth grew into animal fangs, and its flesh became contorted and deformed. The shopkeeper did the only thing he could do. Knowing that the face he made was never supposed to be removed, he took a knife and carved deep into the skin where the mask was supposed to end. This first failed attempt became the haunted mask. After painfully removing the mask, he tried countless other times to create the perfect flesh mask for him to wear to hide his face. They all failed just the same. It was after his failures that he realized that the reason the masks had failed to remain as they were created was because they changed his outside appearance but not the way he still felt inside, ugly. These feelings in turn were what transformed the faces. They changed to reflect the man he still was on the inside, hideous. The shopkeeper took his failed attempts, dubbing them the Unloved, and put them on a shelf in the back room of the mask shop that he was still working on setting up, as a reminder of what he was still trying to accomplish. Meanwhile, in this back room of the shop, these living masks waited and watched for an opportunity to gain a body. Me, so these masks are from you? Shopkeeper, that's right. Me, these masks are monsters. They are haunted and possessed. That's why we're here to destroy them. To make sure they never harm anyone ever again. Nicole, it gets worse, Dad. Sir, I know what's wrong with you. You've been cursed by an evil artifact called the Amulet of Bader. Nicole showed us a picture of an evil-looking amulet in the Book of Vile Darkness. It was an amulet in the shape of a demonic skull and it had all kinds of evil runes on it. Nicole, this amulet is a cursed amulet. The curse it that whoever wears it will have hideous and ugly facial deformities. And the wearer must create ugly faces for the 9 hells of Bader. Shopkeeper, I had no idea that this amulet I was wearing was cursed. Me, that is a very dangerous amulet. Where did you get it? Shopkeeper, I've had it since I was born. Me, this amulet is the reason why your face is ugly. Is there any way to remove the curse? Nicole, there is, Dad. The only way to destroy the curse is to destroy the masks that were created as a result. Me, can the wearer take the amulet off? The shopkeeper tried to do so, but he got burned as a result. Me, that amulet will burn its wearer if he tries to take it off. Nicole, but there's a loophole. A powerful magic spell can break the curse and remove the amulet. Brittany, let me take care of that. Brittany chanted a powerful magic incantation and fired a blast of darkness at the amulet and it fell off of the shopkeeper. I picked it up. Me, wow. Great job, Brittany. Lola, and look at this. Lola held up a mirror to the shopkeeper and his face was back to normal. But then we got an unusual surprise. The shopkeeper fell to the ground and he looked at us. Shopkeeper, thank you. All of you. Thank you. Then the shopkeeper disintegrated into dust in seconds. Me, wow. He was cursed with a fate worse than death. Nico, it looked like eternal life without eternal youth. Lori, I wonder how long he lived. Me, I guess we'll never know. But he can now go to his eternal rest. Lainey, in peace. Me, let's say a prayer for him. We did so. But then after we got done, all the masks came alive. There were 5 more haunted masks and they were the ugliest masks we've ever seen. Me, here we go, guys. Let's take the fight outside. We did so. Outside we were facing the ugly masks. Then they grew bodies. They had black tuxedos on. Me, they have bodies now. You guys are seriously ugly. My dark orb detector went off. Me, there's a dark orb here. My dark orb detector showed that there are 6 dark orbs in each of the masks. Me, there's 6 dark orbs in each of the masks. Greer, time to go, Tigra. Greer's skin turned orange. Tigra, orange is my favorite color. Her hair turned red. Tigra, I've always liked being a redhead. She grew fur. Tigra, tiger fur is so soft. She grew tiger stripes. Tigra, I've always loved these stripes. Her nails on her hands and feet turned into claws. Tigra, I'll have to get used to that. Her teeth turned into fangs. Tigra, I've always been a meat eater. She got taller. Tigra, I've always liked being tall. Then she grew her tail. Tigra, groans in pain. I've hated this part. Her tail popped out of her leggings. Tigra was ready to fight and her clothes were still intact. She kicked off her sandals. But then a huge swarm of scorpions appeared and they began to take form. The Heartless that appeared before us had a lower half of his body of a full-fledged scorpion with deadly razor-sharp pincers. The upper half of his body was green, ugly and gross and dripping with acid. Spider-Man, Scorpion. Malevolent Score Sting, Miss Me, Webhead. Me, you're even more uglier than ever before, Gargan. You're still the ugliest and most fucked up freak of nature we've met. Malevolent Score Sting, you are no different, Knudsen. He fired a powerful blast of acid at me and I dodged it. Malevolent Score Sting, swings tail at Rhino, you know, Rhino. I always really hated you. Rhino's aura flares up, even when we were on the same side. You always pissed me off with how stupid you were. Sprays acid at Rhino but he avoids it. Hell, if it weren't for you, Blondie would have been dead at Australia. Lenny, hey, don't talk about Lori like that. Lori, he was referring to you, Lenny. Me, you were the one that killed him, Lenny. Lenny, oh yeah. Me, let's take these clods down. We went at them. I punched the malevolent score Sting in the face and kicked him in the stomach and punched him in the face again and slashed off his tail. Me, now let's see what this bracelet can do. Hey Gargan. I have something for you to look at. I had him look at the bracelet of Fulhu and its eyes glowed and it emitted an evil speech that sent shivers of pure fear down my spine and its glow made the scorpion heartless go ballistic. He was screaming like a homicidal madman and he was acting like a crazed maniac out for blood and he was screaming like a monster. He was blasting buildings with acid and objects as he was screaming like an insanely fucked up lunatic to the 100th power. Me? Wow. It works way too well. Lori, boy he's literally gone crazy. Me, that's Fulhu for you Lori. According to H.P. Lovecraft's Necronomicon, Fulhu is an ancient, malevolent, and terrible supernatural monster that can drive people mad just by having them look at him. This bracelet I'm wearing has all of Fulhu's powers and it's imbued me with them. Let's finish these freaks of nature. Let's split them up and take them. We did so and went after them. Lori and Tiger went after the first mask. It was an ugly droop face mask. Tigress slashed it with its claws and swatted it with her tail. Lori fired an enormous blast of wind and blew him around in a powerful tornado. Lori kicked the mask off. Lori, combo time Greer. Tigra, you got it Lori. Tigra ran fast on all fours and Lori fired a massive tornado of wind. Lori and Tigra, Cyclone Tiger Current. The wind merged with Tigra and she turned into a tiger of pure wind and she slashed the droop face mask into a million pieces and killed it in an instant. Tigra, that was so awesome. Lori, it sure was. 1 down 6 to go. The dark orb inside the mask came out and Lori picked it up and crushed it with her bare hands. We all got an immense power boost from it. Laney, Sid, Riley, and Woodman were facing the smirk face mask. He was called that because he was an ugly face always smirking. Laney fired razor-sharp leaves at the mask and cut it in. Sid and Riley fired bramble vines at the mask and they lashed it all over. Woodman fired numerous leaves at the mask and they cut it up really bad. Laney, let's finish this clod. Combo time. Sid, you got it Laney. Riley, let's do it. Woodman, let's. Woodman fired a blast of leaves and Laney, Sid, and Riley fired massive tornadoes of leaves at the mask. Woodman, Laney, Sid, and Riley, Leaf Storm Dragon Buster. The leaves turned into a powerful dragon made of leaves and it roared ferociously. It ate the smirk face mask and destroyed it completely. The dark orb inside it came out and Laney picked it up and crushed it. We got another immense power boost. One by one we killed all but one of the masks because it got away. Nico, you masks have failed this world. Me, let's see what the dark crystal of the dark dimension can do. I held up the crystal and it sucked in the other 4 spirits of the masks into the dark dimension where they will stay for all eternity. Me, oh that is awesome. The spirit of the haunted mask appeared. Haunted mask, as a spirit I will return. You have not seen the last of me. I am invincible. Nicole, takes out Book of Vile Darkness and I am Nicole Knudsen. Sabrina, seriously? That's the line you're going with? Nicole, oh, come in. He put me on the spot. Luigi, takes out Poltergust 3000 hurry up, Nicole or I'll get his spirit before you can. Nicole sealed the haunted mask spirit into the Book of Vile Darkness for all eternity. The spread mouth one is the one that got away and we were gonna take him out later. All that was left was to take down the malevolent score Sting. The gaze of Fulhu made him completely unpredictable. But this let his guard down. I punched him in the stomach with devastating force and he coughed and gagged and belched up a tremendous amount of blood. But I saw that my shoe was burned and scuffed. Me, I needed to get some new shoes anyway. Let's finish this clod off. Combo and final smash time. Bubble Man, you got it. Earth Cyber Key Power. The Earth Cyber Planet Key went into his arm and it enhanced his bubble lead 100-fold. Kick back, time for action. Cyber Key Power. The Animatron Cyber Planet Key went into his electromagnetic blast tube and it enhanced its power 100-fold and it enabled it to fire pure lightning. Bubble Man and Kickback, Lightning Bubble Bomb. Bubble Man fired a powerful bubble ball and Kickback fired a massive blast of lightning. The lightning merged with the bubble and the bubble hit the Scorpion Heartless and it exploded with incredible power. Hey Lin, let's get him. Giganteon Cyber Key Power. The Giganteon Cyber Planet Key went into her device and it enhanced her air powers 100-fold. Cliffjumper turned into his Energon counterpart. Cliffjumper, Energon, let's do this. Cyber Key Power. The Velocitron Cyber Planet Key went into his back and it enabled him to have 2 more blasters pop out of his sides and enhance his blaster power. Haylin and Cliffjumper, Hurricane Laser Storm Strike. Haylin fired a massive blast of wind and Cliffjumper fired his lasers at an incredible level. They combined and they slammed into the Scorpion Heartless. Laney, let's get him Mellow. Mellow was with us. Mellow, you got it Laney. Animatron Cyber Key Power. The Animatron Cyber Planet Key went into her arm device and it enhanced her Steenie's powers. Mellow, Steenie used Leaf Storm. Mellow and her Steenie fired a massive blast of leaves. Laney, my turn. Animatron Cyber Key Power. The Animatron Cyber Planet Key went into Laney's device and it enhanced her plant powers. Laney and Mellow, Bramble Dragon Leaf Storm. Laney fired a powerful blast of leaves and the blasts of leaves combined and turned into a massive dragon made of leaves and it fired a massive blast of leaves at the Scorpion Heartless and it hit him and exploded. Me, let's get him Xenia. Xerneas, you got it. I had an energy bow ready and an arrow of pure fire was ready and Xerneas had her gold bow ready and she had a blue energy arrow ready. Me and Xerneas, Moonlight Firestorm Arrow. Me and Xerneas fired both arrows and they divided into more arrows and they hit the Scorpion Heartless land skewered him all over. Me, let's see what powers Shade Man has. Noise Crush. Velocitron Cyber Key Power. The Velocitron Cyber Planet Key went into my device on my left arm and enhanced the Noise Crush 100-fold. Me, let's see how loud this is. I fired a powerful blast of hypersonic sound energy and it was so powerful that it shattered all the windows into shards and more. The Scorpion Heartless screamed in pain as the sound blast destroyed his ears. Me, let's finish him off. Final smash time. Shade Man, let's get him. Sonic Batstorm Strike. Shade Man fired a massive blast of sound energy and it turned into a massive colony of bats and it slammed into the Scorpion Heartless. Nico, Mac Gargan aka Scorpion, you have failed this world. Carly Beth, I've never done a final smash before. I'm going to enjoy the experience. Me, go for it Carly Beth. Carly Beth, Lotus Storm / Surprise. Carly Beth formed a massive storm of lotus flowers and they swirled around her at a blazing speed and they went at the Scorpion Heartless and slashed off his claws and what was left of his tail. Me, wow. That was very well done Carly Beth. Sabrina, way to go. Me, very impressive. Rhino then charged at the Scorpion Heartless. Rhino, this is from me you motherfucking bastard. He slammed all the way through the Scorpion Heartless with devastating force and he bisected him and down the middle. Killing him instantly and sending Scorpion's spirit into the river for fire. Me, go back to Hell Gargan and stay there you son of a bitch. Carly Beth, it's over. It's over. Carly Beth had tears streaming down her face and she walked up to me and she hugged me and cried hard into my chest. I comforted her. Me, hugs her and pets her back. It's all right. It's all right. Let it all out. Carly Beth was finally free from the worst nightmare she has ever been through in her life. Nico caught an Empoleon and a Staraptor, and Lori caught a Staravia and a Pidgeot. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Later at her school we were waiting for Carly Beth's bullies Steve and Chuck to come in. We saw them come in and they saw us. With us was Carly Beth's mom and the principal. Chuck, wow. Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Steve, it's so awesome to meet you guys. Me, we get that all the time, but unfortunately we're not here for pleasantries. Maria, we're not happy with the way you've been bullying Carly Beth here. Chuck, walks past us. Look, it's obvious that you guys are here for a public service announcement in this school. And me and Steve are just in the way. Steve, come in. Chuck. If we hurry, we'll be the first ones in the lunch line. Maria, are you two even listening to us? Me, you two aren't going anywhere. Suddenly Ed went crazy. Ed, big trouble. Ed went completely ballistic and he threw food at Chuck and Steve and slammed all kinds of furniture and tables onto Chuck and Steve with devastating force. Ed and Eddie looked on in shock and horror as he was mercilessly pulverizing Chuck and Steve. Ed calmed down 20 minutes later and Chuck and Steve were hurt bad. Me? Who? What a tantrum. Nico, that's gonna leave a serious mark. Me? No kidding. Carly Beth, to the viewers, what a serious thrashing. But they deserved it. Me, you said it. Nico, sorry about all the damages. Me, let me fix that. I snapped my fingers and everything was all reverted back to what it was, as if it never happened. You guys sure did a number on them. We turned and then we saw the famous creator of the Goosebumps books, RL. Steam. Me, oh wow. RL. Steam. Nico, the famous creator of the Goosebumps books. RL, that's right. It's an honor to meet you, Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Me, same here. Nico, I am a huge fan of your work and I love all your books and they are awesome. RL, I'm glad you like them, Nico. I've heard you all killed Slappy and the Haunted Mask. Me, yes we did. But we have many more monsters from your work to destroy. RL, I know you can beat them all. They are hiding all over the world and you have to stop them. Me, we'll stop them. You can count on it. Later we went back home. RL. Steen is gonna inform us which monsters are making their move next. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction complete. The Haunted Mask from the Goosebumps series was the first ever Goosebumps movie I watched back when I was a kid. It was not that scary for me. But it was creepy. Nico-chan 11 gave me the ideas for this one. Thanks for that, man, as usual. Let me know what you all think. See ya next time.